Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, how embarrassing of a defeat this has been for the Democrats. The fallout continues, and in fact the shockwaves continue to reverberate, and it seems as though the effects become increasingly more and more widespread with time. In other words, it keeps getting worse for them. You know, it started off with little meltdowns, which is exactly what you'd expect. All the blue anon shills can't handle that their worldview was essentially shattered, but now the effects seem to be so much more widespread that even the mainstream is, let's call it, having to face the noise. You know, this election is not just causing the snowflakes to melt down, but it also seems to be sending some establishment players into literal retirement. Yup, you heard that right. You know, the Trump bump was supposed to hit. The media was supposed to be reining in cash, but that didn't happen. Instead, what's happening is these networks are going to hell in a handbasket, with these fake news hosts essentially putting their tail between their legs. And now on top of it, we've got Selzer retiring from the polling game. You know, this is what one might call winning, and maybe, just maybe, winning a little bit too big. You know, I still want some opposition left. Our lives would look a whole lot less interesting if all these people simply backed out into the shadows, but holy moly is it bad. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. Selzer officially retires in shame after her 16-point miss in Iowa. Ooh, the gold standard in polling. Oh, you can't make this stuff up. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, take a look at the headline from CNN. Oh, how bad it must feel for CNN to be reporting on this topic. And Selzer to end election polling after 16-point miss in final Iowa survey. Famed pollster Selzer will end her election polling operation after her final survey for the Des Moines, Iowa Register failed to accurately capture former President Donald Trump's strong support in the 2024 election, resulting in a 16-point miss. Selzer's announcement comes after the Register in its final poll before Election Day delivered a bombshell result showing Vice President Kamala Harris leading Donald Trump at 47-44. And then, of course, well, reality, Trump ultimately swept to victory over Harris by a 13-point margin, winning the actual vote by 56-43. Yeah, and let me ask a question here in a show of hands. Who was surprised by this result? Exactly as I thought, pretty much no one, right? Nobody actually believed this poll because it was bunk from the start. What it obviously was a typical demotivating push poll, and Selzer got exposed big time. I mean, how do you even release a poll that's so off the mark? Let's not kid ourselves. The speculation here is that she pushed this last poll as a last-ditch effort to swing opinions ahead of the election. The tides didn't shift, and they obviously knew it. And now she's bowing out in disgrace. And you know, the media loves to prop up these so-called experts. Oh, the gold standard in polling, treating them as if their word is gospel. But their influence and certainly their accuracy, I'd say, are vastly overrated. Selzer polling, the gold standard, hyped up for years, is now nothing more than a cautionary tale in ineptitude. Anyone who actually looked at the demographic splits in her crosstabs could see that this was garbage data, but she released it anyway, trying to play kingmaker. But like I said, the crosstabs data was garbage since day one, and that's where Mrs. Selzer got thoroughly exposed. Remember when she was confronted on her demographic split, and she said this?
Noah, are you able to put up that tweet? Maybe it's up and I can't see it because
It's
I'm
up.
on my... It's up. All right, Ann, are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. Could you just go through and say what you think about those criticisms?
Well, I'm trying. This is in a format that's a little difficult for me to see. What does this D represent and the R represent?
The gold standard in pollsters didn't know what a D or an R meant next to demographic groups. Is this insane? It obviously means Democrat or Republican. The gold standard in pollster didn't know this? It made absolutely no sense. None of it made sense. Every poll for months showing Iowa not even close to the margin of error, Trump leading by anywhere from 8 to 15 points regularly, and then she came out with this poll coming way out of left field, talking about how women are going to deliver the state for Kamala Harris because of abortion. Something that didn't happen, by the way, in 2022 when there was an actual election on the issue of abortion. Not to mention the state from 2020 to 24 in terms of voter registration went from R+1 to R+10, meaning in your polling data, you should probably account for the fact that there's a whole lot more Republicans in the state than there are Democrats, but she skewed her data to benefit Kamala Harris. How utterly embarrassing. The whole thing is falling apart. And speaking of these outdated hacks, we've got another one. Let's not forget Alan Lichtman and his legendary 13 keys to predicting elections. Every 4 years, this guy comes out of the woodworks and is treated like some sort of clairvoyant. Ooh, I am Alan Lichtman, Mr. Raccoon Headman. The 13 keys, my 13 keys. I have done the ritual and spoken to the 13 keysmen. And as they walked me through the realm of spirits and dreams, I have seen a Kamala Harris victory on the horizon. Womp, womp, womp.
The Fox News decision desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
Yeah, how did that one work out? Well, not exactly so great, huh? And now we've got this arrogant know-it-all going all over the media, essentially throwing a hissy fit, claiming that the problem wasn't his keys, no, the problem was social media algorithms and misinformation.
Yes, as I said, things could go wrong. There could be unprecedented events that change the pattern of 160 years of history. That's what happened here. Two things. Number one, disinformation. We've always had disinformation, but disinformation has exploded to an unprecedented degree. You talked about a grievance election, but a lot of that grievance was driven by disinformation. Starts with Fox News and conservative media, conservative podcasters with tens of millions of views. But we've seen something brand new this time. The 300 billionaire Elon Musk putting his thumb on the scales through his control of X, formerly Twitter. It's been reported that his misinformation has had billions, literally billions of views. And this has spread to every aspect of this election. And, you know, I love you guys in the media, but I have to say you are complicit in Donald Trump lying and conning his way to the presidency.
He's throwing stones, desperately trying to salvage what's left of his reputation, but it's over. It's freaking over. The game has changed. The whole polling game is undergoing a massive shakeup, and for good reason. The field has been totally overrun by these out-of-touch relics who clearly don't know what they're doing anymore. They're out of their depth. And meanwhile, more independent pollsters like Atlas Intel, Rasmussen, and Trafalgar have been nailing it consistently, cycle after cycle, not trying to play God and have their moment in the media as everyone kisses their feet. Please tell us what will happen, great gold standard clairvoyant. No, they're just regular pollsters, just giving us good data and actually following voter registration trends and all other relevant key indicators. After this election, the landscape is fully changed in my view. Alan Lichtman, not worth his weight in salt. Selzer, gone, retired, no longer the gold standard, probably not even the bronze standard. And of course, Nate Silver, once again, totally humiliated and embarrassed. The man who kept saying to the end that Florida was going to be within striking distance, and then Trump ended up taking the state by 13 points. And so, you know, maybe it's time for Nate Silver to retire too, that have been so over-embellished by the media for years now, have proven to again, frankly, be garbage. Yet the media still treats him like some sort of oracle. Well, I just think it's over. I think it's a new era. And the old guard needs to make room for pollsters who actually understand the game. And so I guess for Selzer, Alan Lichtman, and Nate Silver, the door is that way. This 2024 election win is the gift that keeps on giving. The establishment old guard is simply flailing and failing. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.